There's a town in Kentucky that never makes the news. You won't find it on tourist maps or travel blogs. But if you drive far enough off the interstate, past the cornfields and the rusting billboards, you might see the faded road sign. Welcome to Millhaven, a quiet place to call home. Quiet? That's one way to describe it. Millhaven's the kind of town where everyone waves, even if they don't like you. Where the same families have lived for generations, and the same stories have been whispered behind closed doors just as long. But there's one story no one tells. A story they all know, but pretend never happened. It began in the summer of 1997, when a 19-year-old girl named Lila Mae Cottrell vanished on her walk home from the diner. She worked the late shift at Betty's Kitchen, a roadside diner off Highway 12, known for its coffee and pies that always tasted a little like regret. Lila was saving up to leave Millhaven. She wanted to study art, somewhere far from the tobacco fields and the silence of her hometown. That night, her coworker said she left just after midnight. Said she had her old blue backpack slung over her shoulder and her headphones on, humming to a song no one could hear. She never made it home. 3 days later, a search party found her in the woods just outside town. Her body was half covered with leaves near the old train tracks that haven't run since '83. The sheriff said it looked like an accident. She must have fallen, he told reporters. But there weren't any reporters after the first day. Millhaven wasn't the kind of place that invited cameras. And those who saw the scene never believed it was an accident. Her mother, Maggie Cottrell, said the sheriff wouldn't even look her in the eye when he gave her the locket. It was the only thing found on her daughter. The chain was broken. The pendant cracked down the middle. After the funeral, Maggie sat on her porch every night, facing the road Lila used to walk home on. Neighbors said she kept the porch light on for years. Said she'd talk to the darkness, ask it questions. Questions that no one ever answered. The sheriff at the time, Royce Harlan, closed the file within a week. Accidental death, he wrote. Case closed. But the people of Millhaven, they knew better. They just didn't say it out loud. Because Millhaven's the kind of place where silence is its own language. Everyone knows who did what, but no one says a word. It's how things have always been. The rumors started like they always do, in whispers at the feed store, the church steps, the hair salon. Some said Lila was seeing someone older, someone she wasn't supposed to. Others said it had to do with the new factory manager, the one who came from Lexington, who liked to stay out late at the bar near the river. The one whose car was seen parked near the diner that same night. But when Maggie tried to bring it up to the sheriff, he told her to let it rest. Said digging around would only make it harder for her to move on. So she stopped talking, at least out loud. 2 years later, the sheriff retired early, moved out to the lake, bought himself a fishing boat. Folks said he'd been off ever since that summer. That sometimes he'd drive into town at night and just sit outside the diner starring. And then there were the letters. Maggie got the first one in 2001. No name, no return address, just a single line typed on yellow paper. She didn't fall. A month later, another. She knew him. And then finally, he's still here. By then, Millhaven had changed, on the surface at least. The diner got new ownership. The old factory shut down. The school merged with the next counties. But the woods where they found Lila, that part of Millhaven, never changed. The trees grew thicker. The dirt road washed out in the rain. And every few years, someone would say they saw something out there, a light, a shadow, the faint sound of footsteps in the brush. Then in 2023, someone came back. A journalist from Louisville named Evan Price, doing a piece on forgotten Kentucky towns. He said he wanted to write about Millhaven's history, its people. But that wasn't the whole truth. He'd heard about Lila and about the silence. When he started asking questions, doors closed. Calls went unanswered. The pastor told him the town had moved on. The diner owner said she didn't want trouble. And the new sheriff, Sheriff Collier, told him the same line Harlan used to. Best let sleeping dogs lie. But Evan didn't. He visited Maggie's house, or what was left of it. She passed 5 years earlier. Heart failure, they said. But her home was still standing barely. The porch light, still working, glowed like a faint star in the dark. Inside, her desk was covered in old letters and newspaper clippings. And tucked inside the drawer, Evan found the locket. Still broken. But this time, there was something inside. A photograph, faded, water-stained. Lila Mae smiling. And next to her, a man. A man Evan recognized from a photo on the wall of the town hall. A man who'd been mayor of Millhaven for nearly 20 years. When Evan brought it to the sheriff, the reaction was instant. The file room was unavailable. The evidence misplaced. The sheriff stopped returning calls. And within a week, Evan's rental car was found parked on the side of Route 7. His notebook missing. The locals say he must have gotten lost. Funny thing is, that's the same road they found Lila on. Today, if you drive through Millhaven, Kentucky, it looks peaceful. The main street's quiet. The church bells still ring at 9. Kids play near the river in summer. And at night, from the hill outside town, you can see a single porch light glowing in the distance, the one Maggie left on. But ask anyone about the summer of '97, and you'll feel the air change. You'll see the way their eyes shift, the way the conversation turns. Because Millhaven doesn't talk about what happened. Not because they forgot, but because remembering might tear the whole town apart. They say the truth is buried out there, somewhere near the old train tracks. And maybe it is. But in Millhaven, some things stay buried for a reason. Because in this town, silence isn't just a habit. It's protection. It's loyalty. It's fear. And when everyone keeps a secret long enough, eventually that secret becomes the town itself. This is CaseCrypt Vault. We believe no story should fade into silence. Every unsolved case, every missing person, every unanswered question still carries a truth waiting to be found. Subscribe to CaseCrypt Vault and help us keep their stories alive.